In today's report, smuggled Johnson & Johnson vaccines, an update on the COVID pill, and the largest hydro-solar energy farm in the world comes online. I'll leave you to guess which country it's in. That's all coming up in today's program. Hello everyone, you're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest headlines in Thailand and beyond. So if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay on top of the news. And in our first story, the Thai FDA is warning people to avoid the Johnson & Johnson vaccines that were illegally smuggled into Thailand. In Sa Kaeo province in eastern Thailand, a patient apparently brought the vaccine to a private clinic and paid to have the medical staff inject him. The man made the claim in a Facebook post and said he did it because he could not wait for the Moderna vaccine to arrive. Since then, local health officials have not been able to find the man to ask him where he got the vaccine. Reports say the vaccine is suspected of being smuggled from Cambodia to Sa Kaeo, just across the border. While the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine has been approved for use in Thailand by the FDA, they warn against smuggled vaccines that may not have been handled safely. The FDA says that it is imperative that only officially authorized channels import and handle the vaccines, as they must be stored at the right temperature, and mishandling them could render the vaccines useless or even dangerous. Back in June, the Thai government approved a request for France to send the Johnson & Johnson vaccine to Thailand in order to inoculate its French citizens, but the vaccine has not been available to Thais. Since Thailand's reopening to international tourists, border officials have seen an increase in the number of illegal migrants attempting to cross into Thailand to secure work. Labor Minister Suchat Chomglin says many Thai businesses have been forced to hire workers illegally due to labor shortages. The government is therefore planning to reintroduce MOUs with neighboring countries, which would allow migrant workers to enter Thailand through legal channels. The practice was temporarily suspended in March of 2020 due to the pandemic. Reintroducing the policy would need CCSA and cabinet approval. Workers brought in would be subject to 14 days of quarantine and would be vaccinated during that time. Under the MOU arrangement, Suchat says around 50 to 80,000 migrant workers are expected to be brought in initially. The minister says demand for workers is rising in the construction and frozen food sectors, which currently need around 200,000 employees. Thailand's Foreign Affairs Minister says the U.S. government has offered to donate another 1 million vaccine doses to the kingdom. Don Paramat Vinay says the doses are likely to be the Moderna vaccine, and the Public Health Ministry is planning to propose the offer to Cabinet. The last U.S. donation of 1 million Pfizer doses hit a series of hurdles and was seemingly hampered by government bureaucracy. At the time, the U.S. side accused the Thai government of dragging its heels in completing the necessary paperwork. A similar fate hit a proposed donation of 1 million Moderna vaccines from Poland, where the intended recipient, Thammasat University Hospital, has accused the government of blocking the donation by failing to provide the required paperwork. So it remains to be seen if the latest offer from the U.S. comes to fruition or is also thwarted. Minister Don says it will all depend on how quickly the paperwork, there's that word again, is submitted for cabinet approval. The Thai cabinet has given the go-ahead for the Public Health Ministry to purchase 50,000 treatment courses of the antiviral pill Molnupiravir. The drug from U.S. manufacturer Merck is the world's first oral treatment for COVID-19 and has been shown to cut the risk of hospitalization if administered within days of symptoms developing. Thai Health Minister Anutin Chanvirakul says the drug will be used to treat patients in high-risk groups, including those over the age of 60 and people with underlying health conditions that put them at greater risk of developing severe symptoms or dying. For patients with mild symptoms, Anutin says they'll be given the antiviral drug favipiravir in the early stages. The minister added that a course of favipiravir costs around 1,000 baht, while a course of molnupiravir costs about 10,000 baht. The decision of which course to administer will be up to the doctor. A nice achievement on part of Thailand, where the country launched the world's largest hydro-solar energy farm, which is now generating electricity. It is part of Thailand's push to become a carbon-neutral country by 2050. The solar farm floats atop the Sirinthorn Dam in Ubon Ratchathani, about 660 kilometers east of Bangkok, and is as big as 70 soccer fields. Yes, 70 soccer fields. The farm generates electricity both by harnessing the power of the sun in its solar panels, and its 3 turbines convert the water's flow into energy. The complex is the largest hybrid system of its kind in the world. The project is part of 16 projects in the works on Thai reservoirs around the country that are forecast to create a combined total of 2.7 gigawatts of electricity. The Electricity Generating Authority of Thailand confirms that the world's largest hydro-solar farm will begin to move energy production away from the current largest source in Thailand, which is natural gas, with the hopes of massively reducing Thailand's reliance on non-renewable energy. Thailand actually set the deadline to become a carbon-neutral country and reduce greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2065, but PM Prayut Chan-o-cha recently made a pledge at the UN Climate Change Conference this month to reach the goal by 2050. Last year, hydropower, solar, and wind combined made up less than 10% of the power generation in Thailand, while almost 2/3 of the country's power was generated by natural gas. And that concludes our report for today. Now, if you enjoyed it, you'll definitely love the videos that just popped up, so check them out to continue watching our other shows. Thailand News Today will be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.
Another stunning day off the coast of Phuket, and I'm with Sean Stenning from 5 Star Marine, and in the background is Phuket, and you can probably see that tiny speck of white up on the hill. That's the big Buddha, and if the camera's moving around, that's because we're on a boat. So Sean, we're just like, what, less than an hour off the island of Phuket?
Literally 20 minutes from the pier right here at Koh Kai. So really, like, for me, this is just the perfect small half day or even full day trip to just go out and test yourself on the sea. If you've never been out before, the sea's calm. You know, we've just come here ourselves, and you could attest that the sea's nice and flat.
So how many places could you visit, say, on a half-day tour?
Oh, you know, here we've got the 3 Kai Islands. We also have the 2 Nakanoi, Nakaye Islands. And then if we're really lucky and low tide, there's a sandbar called Koh Pair. It's a beautiful sandbar, only available at low tide.
So if you're sort of looking for that sunset shot, the walking along the deserted beach and the champagne sunset and all that, you can do that literally within a half-hour ride of Phuket.
Exactly right, exactly right.
All right, so Thailand is opening up. It's never looked better as far as the water quality, the beaches are clear, and there's not that many people. So please come back.